Hello, it's Wednesday before Thanksgiving. So, first and foremost, I just want to say happy Thanksgiving to everybody, and I hope everybody have a safe and happy Thanksgiving. I'm going over to a friend's house for dinner, for Thanksgiving meal, and we have been going to this same friend's house now for a couple of years, so I don't have to do any cooking, but I will do some cooking and bring something to the party. Um, But part of this video is I want to discuss a topic that I thought was interesting that was brought up by Ghost Critics, and Howler Mouth did a really great video in reply in connection to that question. Ghost Critic had a question of the week where he asked, what do we think about the community, the YouTube community, trying to legitimize comic books. Um, and Howler Mouse did a great video where he discussed the various, he discussed his path, his road, how he got into the hobby and how he got it to YouTube, as well as how the differences of others have affect them in how they view comic books. It's hard for me to describe it. I don't do any justice by trying to summarize his thoughts and comments in 30 seconds, but I put a link to both Ghost Critics and Howler Mouth video below, so that if you're interested in hearing his thoughts and comments, I recommend watching them. Um, After I watched his video, I have to say that I reflected and felt very thankful that I started to collect comic book in 1981 when the world was very different. There is no social media, there is no YouTube, there is no nothing. I bought and collect what I thought appealed to me, what I love. I can tell you in 1981 when I picked up and bought my first issue of X-Men, I don't recall the exact issue number, but it's the one where Colossus is laying down with the spike through his chest where he was killed, and the X-Men other members were standing over him. Um, when I saw that cover, I haven't seen that many comic book covers up until that point, but certainly seeing someone dying on the cover was kind of the wow factor that got me to go and grab the book off the rack, and it was fairly quickly for me to fall in love with the X-Men team members. But I collected what I thought was appealing. I had no idea. I couldn't care less of what the rest of the world was doing. And for me, comic book was very personal in many levels. I'm sure many my video has revealed that. But at the same time, I was very lucky to not have to deal with the bad stigma of being a comic collector. I never hid the fact that I like comic books and collected comic books all through my life. Um, other people, as I have seen in other videos, have been bullied because they collect comic books. Many people don't like the term nerds and geek associated with comic books because they felt that's insulting. Perhaps they were insulted when they were younger as a collector. Who knows, right? We all have our own reason why we don't like many things. But for me, I guess when I was younger, it was a lot easier for other people to insult me based on many other things but comic books. Okay, trust me, being insulted based on my ethnicity, height, bad grammar, my accent, you name it. There's a lot of ways that through middle school and high school and even college that people would insult me and find ways to denigrate me, but that's never about comic books. The only time that I got a negative reaction about comic books was actually about 3 years ago. One of my son parents, his mom, Anthony have a friend, and one of his friend mother overheard about comic books that I have a lot of comic book in the house, and right away, what came out of her mouth was, "Get rid of them. They are complete garbage." I mean, it was such a violent negative reaction, as if I'm having drugs in the house or something. But it's silly. Like I said, trust me, it surprised the heck out of me to see such a negative, violent reaction out of somebody that know nothing about the hobby. Um, but get back to the roads that we all take here. Back in the 80s, I'm sure I talked about this in other video. Collecting in this prior to the birth of the internet is very different. I think everybody was drawn to comic books in a very different way compared to what it is today. Social media, YouTube, Twitter, and all of that other stuff had changed the hobby forever. Okay, I won't say it's good or bad. To each his own. I'm not the type that get influenced much by watching other people video or what's the next movie is gonna be. So I don't know and do not relate to the mindset how social media impact me as far as this hobby, but I'm sure it has impacted many other collectors. I'm not saying younger people, because I have seen people my age get drawn in to the influences of social media. I will add to the end of this video a little bit about social media and comic books that I think you will find interesting. Okay, it's shocking, it's surprising to see how popular comic book is in social media. I'm sure you'll find the last few minutes of this video interesting. I hope. I think the problem, or I think a potential problem with social media, YouTube and Twitter and Tumblr and all that stuff, Facebook, what that have done is push the hobby to a speed that is well beyond my comprehension. It seems to me now collectors are in a rush to have everything right away. It's human, okay? It's we're always in a hurry to have everything. It's probably one of the worst human flaw that all of us have, okay? It's never, for most of us, it's never enough. We gotta have everything. Regardless if we have the money or can't afford it, we want it. We are in a consumerism state of mind on a constant basis. That's why marketing and all that stuff, trust me, advertisement and marketing is flooding the airwave, the Twitter wave, the internet wave, because it's working. Okay, we are all sucked into this consumerism state of mind where you gotta have it. I think it's very human for most of us to see a video and see something that we don't have, and immediately there's a little piece of us in behind there that said that want that. I'm guilty of that too. Often when I see a video and I see a comic books that I don't have and want, I definitely have that urge, like, oh, I wish I have that too. But I'm lucky enough to be able to suppress those kind of impulse. These days, I don't need to buy a whole heck of a lot to satisfy my thirst for the hobby. And I have given this advice to younger collectors for a long time now. Regardless of how you get into this hobby, regardless of what roads you took to get yourself here on YouTube and enjoying the community and trying to be part of the community, the best way to make it a lifelong hobby, lifelong fun, is to make it personal. Okay, if you doing this to stay up with the Jones, to impress somebody, eventually it will get tiring. Okay, it's nothing can last forever if it's all about impressing somebody, or to stay in the club with somebody, or with other people, to be with the Jones. I can't say enough about collecting is not a sprint. Okay, it's not. It's a lifelong marathon. I don't understand the mindset of some people that they feel a need to rush out there and have everything now. It's you know what's fun for me has always been the hunt to find the bargains. So I understand the desire. I want everything now, sure. But at the same time, I don't uh, feel a need to go out there and spend all my money to acquire a comic book for the sake of having it to show to tell my friend that I finally have this book. It's like I said, it's different for all of us. Okay, so I think the message I'm trying to convey is that for this hobby to last a long time for any one of us, me included, you have to find a way to carve out a little spot for yourself where comic book is special. Something about comic books are special to you in that special way. Um, and I think if you can figure that point out, I think it will be a fun hobby for decades to come. Okay, um, it's not to say that for those that care only to chase hot books won't enjoy this forever. Like I said, I don't have that mindset, so I don't understand. You know, if there is a finish line to the race that they are trying to get to. But it's the bottom line is, I think trying to carve out your individuality is I think what's neat about this hobby. We all love many things. We all love comic books. I said this before. We all love comic books, but there's so many different options. So it's okay to like different things. It's okay to dislike what I like. We all don't have to like the same thing. So you know, uh, it's not a big deal. If you make it a big deal, then that's a bigger problem. That's it. Happy Thanksgiving, and the next clip will show you how popular comic book is. Okay, comicbook.com is a site that's have a lot of latest, greatest, newest stuff about movies and TVs and characters and rumors about, so if that website is that popular on Facebook, is it a wonder why the hobby is what it is right now? Crazy, isn't it? Bye. Okay, so here you have the top 25 Facebook publishers for October of 2014. The top site are fairly common for political and world news. Not a surprise, right? New York Times, NBC, Fox News. Look at that. 11th is comicbook.com. Wow. Just look at how many views and visit, all that stuff. Amazing. It's amazing to see that comicbook.com is above MTV, CNN, Yahoo, ESPN. There you go.